Hey girls, it's Wednesday! So the theme this week seems to be education, and since I am old and am no longer in college, I'm just going to tell you about a couple of my favorite classes from when I was in school. The first one that I want to mention is a class I took called Supergirl Saves the World, which was a May term class, which was 3 weeks. We met every day for 3 hours for 3 weeks. And basically the entire class, we watched episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We read a book called Sex and the Slayer, which is a gender studies book on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And we basically spent the whole 3 weeks talking about gender constructs and masculinity versus femininity, and using all of that to talk about the characters in Buffy. And it was pretty awesome. And then for the final, we had to use what we learned in the class to write a paper, like a character description on a specific character from a different TV show, which I wrote about Captain John Hart from Torchwood. So that was pretty cool. I also took another class where I got to watch movies all day. It was actually a semester-long class. It was a Spanish class called Film in Spanish, and we studied the Spanish director Pedro Almodovar. And if you don't know who Pedro Almodovar is, you should check him out because he's a fantastic filmmaker and has awesome movies with people like Antonio Banderas and Penelope Cruz. Basically, in this class, we watched 6, I believe, of Almodovar's movies, and we talked about the different subjects that he brought up, like Stockholm Syndrome, murder, rape, falling in love with girls in comas, religion, homosexuality, drugs, all that good stuff. And then the last class that I want to mention, which I think I've talked about vaguely on here before, is my senior theater seminar class, which we studied the life and times of Václav Havel, who was a Czech playwright who was kind of forced into politics, into being a sort of activist, even though he really didn't want to be, and ended up being the last president of Czechoslovakia and the first president of the Czech Republic. Pretty awesome guy. We read a lot of his plays, and we read a biography on him. There were only 4 of us in the class, so it was one of my favorite classes for that reason, and because I found the subject matter so interesting, and we had really awesome discussions with the 4 of us and our teacher about what it means to be an activist and things like that. I also took some really awesome art classes when I was in college. I took photography for 2 semesters. I took a drawing class, an illustration class. I took a bunch of different English classes, 1.5 billion theater classes, and then I took both a sociology class on sports and an education class on how to teach PE. And now it is 4:30 p.m. and I have been up since 7 o'clock yesterday, so I'm gonna finish off here and take a nap because I'm very sleepy. So that's all I have for today, and Sarah, I'll see you tomorrow.